Hey guys, what is up? Pixels here, and in today's video we're doing another class breakdown for Evil Dead the game. And today we're going to be looking at the warrior class. We're going to be going over all their perks. I've had to actually redo this because from the first beta to the second beta, the perks, the starting perks changed and what level you unlock certain perks at and stuff. So for as far as I can tell, they haven't really adjusted any stats on other perks. They've mainly just looked at it and said, okay, so now we're going to unlock this at level 25. So they've increased the level cap to level 25. It was originally level 20, which also gives you more skill points to spend in your skill trees and stuff like that. So with the second beta, I actually played a lot more warrior than any other class. The first beta I played a lot of leader. This beta I played a lot of warrior. I played a lot of hunter as well and a lot of support. I didn't really play much of the leader category, but the leaders are fun. That wasn't the reason why. I just wanted to test out the other classes, you know. And so before we start, warriors have a lot more health and inflict more melee damage. So that's basically what their little synopsis is, of what their class overall thing is. Alright, so the first person on the warrior class is Army of Darkness Ash. And like I said before, this guy is absolutely insane, but we're just going to go over his perks and I'll explain what they do and stuff like that. So Wise Man's Potion, this is the perk you start off with. Basically you hit B on your control, it will activate this perk. And when activated, this ability will grant you health restoration, fear reduction, increased damage dealing, and reduction of damage received. So it's a lot, basically. And you just basically drink the potion and you gain, you know, 30% damage increase. I mainly do this when as a boss. Or, you know, if the game's quiet and, you know, I'm just running around by myself and my fear levels get quite high and I don't want to start a fire to reduce my fear level, I will drink this potion because it gives you a 30 fear reduction as well, which is great. You get a 50% damage reduction, so he's basically like a little tank in the warrior class as well, so he can take up a lot of damage when you do take this potion. And health restored is 250, so like I said, I mainly did this when there was like a really hectic fight, when I'm fighting a boss or something. I was able to just, you know, focus a lot of DPS on the boss without taking much damage from them as well. I won't be surprised if this guy actually gets nerfed, because like I said, if I could show you guys the gameplay I had with this dude, like, you'd look at it and go, wow, this guy is fucking insane. Because once you get him maxed out and you basically, you know, base his kit around the chainsaw, and once you're using the pink fuck in the game to level up his skill trees even more. So, you know, when I used the pink fuck, I mainly went into shield, and I'll explain why I went into shield a bit later. And I went into melee. And so when you max out his melee, he actually has increased, like, you know, attack speed as well, which is really good. But anyways, we'll get into that a little bit. Okay, so his second perk is Shield Blast. Each time your shield loses a bar, it triggers an explosion, damaging any nearby enemies. The explosion damage is 200. Now, I think this perk is really awesome. I didn't get a chance to test this out in the first beta, but because this is a starting perk now, it actually happened quite frequently, and I was surprised at actually how much damage it actually did to the deadites and stuff around in the radius once that shield bar does deplete. And so obviously at the early game you won't have a lot of shield, but the good thing is this has got great chemistry with his third perk, and I'll explain why. Okay, so his third perk is called Finish Strong. After Ash kills an enemy with a finisher, he recovers part of his shield bar. So you don't really have to use amulets on this guy much, but when you do, it's actually really good. So when I played him, like I said, I spec'd around shield, maxing out the shield as fast as possible with the pink fuck in the game. And once you do that, every time you take an amulet, you will gain 2 shield bars. So you can have 4 shield bars in total. And like I said, every time you can carry 3 amulets on this character. And every time you take an amulet, you basically gain 2 shield. So that's a lot. And every time you do an execution, you also gain shield. So you can get where I'm coming from with here. This guy is really hard to take down. Like, you can constantly just keep regenning health. It's absolutely insane. So basically, like I said, this works well with his second perk, because once you do obviously do a finisher, it only puts your shield bar up by like a little amount, and which is really good, because just say you had 2 and the third shield bar went up just by a little amount. If you take any damage, then that's going to cause the explosion and it will hit the deadites and it will hit them hard as well. So it does a lot of damage, which is great. Like I said, it was very helpful in a lot of hectic fights when I had loads of deadites around me. I actually, like, you know, took about 50% of their health off just because they hit me. And it's just crazy, like, how well this guy sustains himself in combat for like a long period of time. Like, you could just run into a crowd of deadites and just start swinging whatever weapon you've got, and you'll just do insane amounts of damage with this guy. And you really want to focus on getting them executions as well, because you want to buff your shield up even more every time you do that. So Again, it's a really great perk. You unlock this at level 10, by the way. And we'll move on to his last perk, which is also really good. Weapon Master Chainsaw. The Chainsaw has faster attack speed, deals increased health, balance bar, and dismemberment damage. Like I said, I had this at level 25. This is when you unlock this. And by the time you get there, you're going to have a lot of points to spend in this guy's skill tree as well. So I basically focused on like balance bar damage in this guy, maximum health, damage reduction when I have shield and stuff like that. So that's the type of stuff you can look forward to in this game. You can decide, you know, where to spend your points. You're not going to be able to max out a character. As far as I'm aware, the highest so far in the beta was level 25. So I imagine, you know, you'll have to be, you know, smart with where you want to spend your points. And, you know, you can do different builds. So you can focus this guy, you know, on having increased health and fear reduction, or you can have him to do even more DPS. I kind of did a balance between the two. Like I said, I focused on shield a bit. You know, I did the maximum health. And then I looked at doing, you know, reduced stamina from dodging hits and, you know, increased balance bar damage from my melee attacks. That was really good. But anyways, let's talk about this a bit. So like I said before, once I got the pink F in the game, I actually, like I said, I spec'd into melee. And once you get the melee maxed out, he does even faster attack speed, which is just absolutely insane. I'm really gutted I can't show you guys gameplay of it because, you know, the gameplay is going around right now, you know, from like the Slash and Cast video and stuff they did. They didn't really show the full potential of what like a certain survivor could bring to the game, which is I wish I could do that. I wish I could show you guys the full potential for every survivor. It would be great. But sadly I can't, but the best I can do is explain it to you guys. So, you know, if those of you who don't know what pink F is, you find it in a chest around the map. You know, and every time you pick one up, it gives you a skill point to spend in the game. And you have different categories you can spend it in, like melee, you know, stamina, shield, health, you know, etc. like that. So you can decide what to spec in. What I recommend is obviously looking through them first before you just spend it willy-nilly, because sometimes you want to get to that last stage in that certain category, because the last stage, once you fully max it out, is usually the best one, and that gives you the best benefits. So like I said, I expected a melee with this guy and shield a lot, and anything else I just put into stamina because I thought it was really good. So like I said, if you're looking for a warrior class and you know who to main in the game, if you want to do a DPS, like, you need to play this guy for DPS. I'm telling you, like, the other two are really good as well. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to get into those as well into the video. But honestly, this guy for DPS is insane. And I think a lot of people, once they realize his potential, I think a lot of people are going to be playing this guy. I definitely think he's the best character in the game so far from what I've played. And I played all the characters, and I can't recommend this guy enough. But anyways, I've been talking about this guy for like 9 minutes. The dude is absolutely incredible. So let's move on to Scotty, who is the second warrior in the warrior class. Okay, so we're on Scotty now. So Scotty, I already played him a few times. He's alright. Marcus, who I play with, actually played him quite a lot. But, you know, he seemed pretty decent. So his first perk is called Thunder Thrust. Once activated, this explosion is a special move that damages all enemies in the surrounding area. So, you know, you press B on the controller or whatever, and then it'll do an explosion. It will damage the nearby deadites. It has a 30-second cooldown and 100 damage. So I'm just going to draw a comparison here to Ashe again. Ashe has this ability pretty much at level 10. You know, every time you lose the shield bar, it causes an explosion, and it does, you know, 250 damage. This guy's main ability only does 100 damage compared to that. So you can kind of see where I'm coming from with Army Darkness Asher, how broken he is right now, or how OP he is. So like I said, I can see him probably getting nerfed. But anyways, you know, it's a decent perk on Scotty. It's okay. I use it a few times. It doesn't really do like as much damage as you'd expect, but it does help out in hectic fights, especially when there's crowds of deadites, you know. The second perk is Collateral Damage. Your heavy melee attacks inflict additional damage to nearby enemies. The impact radius is 3 meters, and damage dealt to nearby enemies is 13%. So this is actually a decent one, because if you have a Lord Arthur on your team, he does buff heavy melee attacks. And so obviously that'll increase the damage to nearby enemies as well. So, you know, if you hit this guy, if you play this guy, and you basically, what you want to do is using the heavy melee option a lot more, especially when there's a crowd. You know, you don't really want to do it if there's only 1 or 2 deadites. That's probably stupid, but, you know, at the end game boss fight in the, you know, the fight for the dagger and the page, they can get really crowded with a lot of deadites. So having this as his starting perk, I think is really good. So I think he'd be a decent starter character for people if they want to look into playing him. His third perk, which you unlock at level 10, is exposure therapy, and partially reduces your fear levels with every enemy you kill, and fear recovered by kill is 15%. So I think that's a really good one because the fear levels in this game go up like a significant amount now. It felt like when I did go off solo quite a lot, so if you play solo and you don't stick with your team, your fear level does tend to increase quite a lot compared to, you know, if you stick with your team. But this guy is going to be really good, especially if he's, you know, running solo. If you want to loot solo, but your team's, you know, your team goes off and does their own thing, you want to go off and loot solo, you can do that. I wouldn't recommend you do it that much, but if you loot solo at the start of the game, collect like a map piece and then go link up with your teammates, that's usually quite fine. Just as long as the demon doesn't find you, but the majority of the time the demon will find like the 3 people that are grouped up together or the 2 people that are grouped up together, etc. So it's very rare that you will be found by yourself, especially if you don't go in a car at the start of the game. Basically what I'll do is I'll do like a little tips and hint video of what, you know, to expect when you're playing Evil Dead the game and what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing, etc. But anyways, like I said, this is a really good perk. You know, the fear recovered by kill is 15%, which is really awesome. And yeah, it'll really help you out, especially going solo at the start of the game. And at level 25, you get Weapon Master Lumberjack Axe. So the Lumberjack Axe has a faster attack speed, deals increased health, balance bar, and dismemberment damage. I didn't get a chance to test it out, but you know, from the sounds of it, it sounds really good, and it's going to go well with his second perk, but it has the increased heavy hit, you know, the heavy melee attack damage. And the Lumberjack Axe is like a big weapon, so it's a 2-handed weapon, and if you're swinging this around in a crowded deadites, obviously, you know, you're going to do a lot of damage, especially the ones that are surrounding them with the second perk. So, yeah, it's a good one, especially if it has faster attack speed. So my recommendation, you know, if you play this guy, try and find a Lumberjack Axe, especially if you get him at level 25. And then, you know, go from there, you know, with the pink F, maybe spec into melee as fast as possible. And then, you know, you're going to have even more faster attack speed too. So that's really good. Alright, last but not least is Henry the Red in the warrior category. And I say not least because this guy is an absolute tank. So if you like to play the tank role in games like Overwatch and, you know, the class-based games like that, you'll really, you know, look no further than this guy. He's probably the only tank in the game so far, even though I felt Army of Darkness was, Ash was sort of like a tank because I didn't die. Like, the dude was just ridiculously hard to kill. But yeah, playing Henry the Red's really fun. He has a perk that he starts off with. So the first perk he starts off with is Unstoppable, and activating this ability temporarily prevents damage to health or shield, and the duration is 7 seconds, and it has a 60-second cooldown. So he can soak up a lot of damage, which is great, especially in boss fights. You know, making, you know, possibly, you know, getting people up off the ground. I think it's going to be really helpful getting people up off the ground with this. And you know, he's going to be that type of guy that you want in every fight. You know, he's going to, you know, go running around taking hits for everyone, which I think is really cool. So like I said, if you like playing tanks, you know, you definitely need to look at playing this guy, because this dude just has an insane amount of health, especially with his more perks as we get later on. So Shields Up is the second perk that you start the game with. Start the match with an additional shield bar. Again, that's already really good, because, you know, you don't have to spend, you know, ping F in the game to really get, you know, decent amount of health for this guy. But if you do spend ping F in the game, then what you can do is, you know, increase his shield to have five shield bars. I'm pretty sure I've seen a few Henry the Reds on my team that had 5 shield bars, which I think is absolutely insane, because, you know, when you do spec into the skill tree, like I said on Army Darkness Ash, you can do damage reduction for every shield, like for the amount of shield you have, basically. So if, you know, it's called Reinforced Amulet is what the perk's called, and you can spec into this 4 times with like 4 skill points, so you can do a significant amount of damage reduction if you do have a shield. So imagine, you know, you have that and you have the guy's first perk, like you have 5 shields and then you have the guy's first perk. Like, this dude is going to be an absolute tank, and you can spec into maximum health and increasing that as well, which is just totally crazy. It probably won't do a lot of damage, but it will be able to do a lot of, and like to receive a lot of damage. And with his third perk that you unlock at level 10 is called Rebound. This is a really good perk, by the way. It reflects a percentage of the damage you receive back on your attacker, and the damage reflected is 30%. So if you do decide, you know, you run this guy and you run Rebound, it's going to be really good because, like I said, you're going to soak up a lot of damage from this guy, and you know, it benefits you as well because that way, you know, it's going to do damage to the bosses and the deadites as well, so that's really good. And at level 25 is called Battle Hardened, so increase maximum health and shield bar length. So this guy at level 25 is just, he gets like a complete tank state, and you know, health and shield bar length increases by 10%. It's not a massive amount, but it's still, you know, it's going to benefit, especially if you're spending skill points in the reinforced amulet and you spend it on maximum health too. And then on top of that, obviously you have the pink fuck in the game that you can increase your maximum health. You can increase your shield bars and, you know, increase your overall stamina and things like that. So, you know, you're going to be able to, like at level 25, I think this guy is going to be one of the OP characters in the game. I think a lot of people might look over this guy because they might not be too familiar with who he is, but obviously Evil Dead fans will be. But like I said, if you like playing the tank role, then you definitely need to go for this guy. But anyways, I'm going to leave it there, guys, because I kind of ranted on a lot in the warrior class. There was only 3 characters. Obviously, I talked about Army of Darkness Ash a lot, but I want to let you guys know how like great that character is. But you know, you guys might want to play Scotty and Henry the Red as well. That obviously that's totally fine. I'm obviously going to be playing every character once the game launches in like 2 weeks time, which I can't wait. So, but yeah, like I said, I hope you guys found this video informative about all the perks that you can expect in the warrior class. It's really good. Like I said, if you want to do the DPS side of things, then you definitely need to be playing a warrior in this game. And so, yeah, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you guys are going to be playing once the game launches. If you're going to be playing the warriors, you know, what character you're going to be choosing out with the warrior class. And thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, hit that sub button for your future Evil Dead content, because I'm going to be doing this quite a lot in the near future, and I can't wait to just put out build videos and stuff like that. It's going to be awesome. And yeah, like I said, thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Pixels, you've been my awesome viewers, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.